How's it going? Charles Boneston here. We are live on BPI's YouTube channel as authentic and as HD as we can get. We're going to be going through the first of pretty much the daily wrap-up of all the real estate shows or real estate news that we can go through. We got our sheet today, and this is the weekly wrap-up. So this could be news, this could be developments, this could be pricing, this could be obviously tax laws. That's what everyone's talking about nowadays. So we're going to go through it very succinctly and essentially as easy as we can get when it comes down to getting all the information that you can. I just want to make sure that everything is good to go. We're actually going to be changing the camera laws. So this is actually we'll start with the first on our list, which is this is on the Upper West Side. So Extel is building this development. It's obviously a controversial Upper West Side development. They just received $212 million in air rights. 147 million came from the Jewish Guild for the Blind, and 55 million was actually purchased from Disney. Obviously, you can see it right here. It's pretty big, okay? And it's going to be actually right around the same height. It's going to be actually taller than the Time Warner Center. So imagine the Time Warner Center, which is at Columbus Circle. Imagine that just a few blocks north, right around there, and they're going to be putting that up very time soon, very close to when more inventory is actually going to be coming on the market. Obviously, you have one West End Avenue, and then you have obviously Billionaires Row all the way down to Park Avenue. What we're going to be talking about next is everybody's favorite social media network, Instagram. New York City was actually the most popular city on Instagram in 2017. They just came out with the report. You guys can go check that out. First place was obviously the Big Apple. Number two was London. Or I'm sorry, number two was actually Moscow, then London. And the most popular location was actually Disneyland, and the second most was Times Square. And with rounding out all of those was Central Park, which was number 3, and Brooklyn Bridge, which was number 8. So those are it just shows where we are right now. If you have obviously one of the top visited locations, you kind of see, okay, socially, what is that city doing? And then if you start falling back in places, you can take it and say, okay, why are there not more people tagging themselves? So it's actually a really good marker to see tourism in cities, especially in New York City. Number 3, we're going to go to obviously the most fundamental question is VR. When is it coming online? What is going on with it? Obviously, augmented reality, AR, which is you could already see reality, and then you see things on it, kind of like Google Glass. I think it was a little bit early, but in the future, we'll have lenses right around here, and it'll be just, that's what we'll be living through in the future. VR is a little bit different. I'm a little bit more bullish on VR because you put glasses on it. Samsung is going very hard into it. Google is going very hard into it. They're putting a ton of money behind it. Obviously, Silicon Valley in general is just insane with the amount of where you can go with it. We're going to be selling buildings. We're going to be selling new developments already being sold off of this. So essentially, what they're talking about is VR tours are coming to new developments. We already know that, okay? You essentially put the glasses on. They've already pre-recorded through drones a building that's not even there. So you're essentially looking at all these things that aren't even existing around you, say the flooring or the kitchen or the view or the bathroom, and you're just walking through the apartment with these VR glasses. I love them. The cost is going to go anywhere from $6,000 to 6 figures. So it's going to be a little bit crazy. Moving on, obviously 432 Park, everybody's favorite building, the tall pencil. People were saying it's going to blow over the wind. It looks ugly. We don't like residential. Things like that. So Macklowe, who is actually behind it, they developed it. So he's going through a divorce right now. He said he wanted his profits to be $350 million, and the latest reports is that he's off by quite a bit. He's off by $302 million. So that just shows the luxury market right there, is that he thought it was going to be a $350 million profit. $350 million profit. He's only made $48 million. So they've I don't know if it's obviously good attorneys at the divorce court or whatever. However, you could see, and I actually wrote this on my Instagram stories yesterday, is that there's 8 years of luxury, high-end, obviously above 5 million to 50 to 100 million of inventory, 8 years of inventory. So if you took all the people that are in the marketplace and then you were inserting people through the months and through the years, that's where you're going to get everyone that says, oh, okay, maybe I'll buy now, maybe I won't buy now. But they're also not putting in the cost of maintaining that, of paying down the interest. So that means the pricing is probably going to come down. You have interest on the loan, you have interest on the construction, you have investors that want their money back. So you're going to see, I don't know if you're going to see defaults, but you're definitely going to see a lot of price decreases in the luxury market, and this is a perfect example. Moving on is obviously the most coveted, actually, I'm sorry, what we have up right now is actually Hudson Yards. Sorry about that. This was the massive towers that are going up in Hudson Yards. And Hudson Yards essentially is everyone's new, say, West Chelsea. Okay, obviously West Chelsea is one of the, they called it the art district. Then you have the High Line. Now you have pricing that's incredible. It's a brand new area. And now Hudson Yards, obviously, which was built over Penn Station. So very, very intuitive. They had free rent and no security already, all right? And now their free rent is 3 months free on a 26-year lease, or 2 months free on a 14-month lease. So why is that important? Okay, it's important because we have so many new luxury rental buildings, and I'll be naming a few that are coming down in price. So what does that mean to you? Number one is there's massive amounts of inventory. We're about to put a rental building or a rental property on the market. We're worried about it because it took a little bit longer for the last one to go. We went no fee, even though we paid for it on, obviously, out of our pocket for the marketing and everything else. It costed a bunch of money, but for us, it's about the relationship. We're going to be putting on another one in the East Village. There was 112 homes that were within the price range, that some of them were no fee, some of them were fee. So the one we're actually looking at is the 844 unit at the Eugene, and that's at West 31st Street. 844 units. So you're going to be getting no security deposit and free months of rent. So I highly recommend those people. I know one of them that's looking to pick up a place that maybe even go in with a lower price. And other high-end, you obviously have 555 10th, which is Extel, the Lazarian, which is 507 West Chelsea, the Imperial, which is the Henry Hall. They're all offering incentives to prospective tenants. Moving on, we have one of the biggest names right here, and that's going to be coming from Elliman. And essentially, Elliman names Scott Durkin the new president, and you can see the org chart right there, which is right in front of us. And essentially, the Tao Residential, the longtime manager and COO of Elliman, who's Scott Durkin, he's going to be leading he's already been leading the expansion for the last 2 years. He's going to be the new president. And the new party poopers, unfortunately, for Town Residential, not having any party this year, JDS Development Group, and Moynihan Group. So essentially what we're seeing here I'm going to be talking about this a little bit further. The president of, shall I say her name? Okay, so I'll say her name, Elliman, Dottie Herman, essentially said, obviously we just talked about Scott Durkin, but all these firms, Tao Residential, their past parties, and this is obviously the squeeze that we're going to be getting from these large companies. That's from lower inventory, less transactions, lower pricing, less commissions. There's just a complete squeeze, and then you have new apps and everything like that. So in the past, Town Residential had their parties at Tao and Tavern on the Green. Okay, now they're having individual office parties. JDS Development Group, they're doing just staff and family, and the Moynihan Group is not even having a party at all. And these are places that had these big blowouts. Obviously, it's for retention. A lot of them are going to either start their own firm, they're either going to, say, Compass, or they're jumping ship to a place that you can actually do what you want without this kind of corporate policy that's always involved in everyone's mind. We're just going to go over really quick the Instagrams that we covered this week. Number one is obviously the STAR exemptions. So the STAR exemption is for people that have a primary residence and do not have any children that are going to the school. Obviously there are exemptions and there are not people that are exempted, so you can take potentially a lower tax rate. This is obviously everyone's favorite, which is a co-op rejection based on price. I could be talking about that in an entirely new video, which I will. And then moving on, who owns the photos at the Oscars? There's obviously that famous Instagram photo, and it says, what if someone commercially sells that off? Does Instagram own it? Do the people own it? Whoever took the photo owns it. Whoever posts the photo. And then obviously licensed at one or more agencies. As a lot of agents go out on their own, they say, can I be licensed here, start my own brokerage? And this is obviously within all the same state. And then of course, the tax for out-of-state residents. And that's something that is somewhat new. But as New York City attracts all of this international money, it's a little bit easier for them to use but then we also have a lot of tourism, so then that's like, what are we doing here for out-of-state residents? So look into that, and of course we're going to end it here. The BPI questions, those are on our Instagram. I highly recommend you obviously checking those out. We actually changed up our feed to a little bit more realistic photos. And as always, we're never too busy for any of your referrals. Every single week we're going to have a weekly wrap-up of the real estate questions. Today's question of the day is going to be more on what do you feel as a consumer, where are you getting your information from? Is it from online? Is it from your colleagues? Is it from a broker? Is it from videos? Is it from, say, this show? So leave those in the comments below. And of course, we are never too busy for any of your referrals. Have an awesome day. Talk to you guys soon.